Hello and welcome to Spectrum Television News at 12.
Yai and Nyekan come to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. Let's take a look at the major stories. Federal government to arraign Emefiele Thursday over 6.9 billion naira procurement fraud. ECOWAS tightens sanctions on Niger junta, demands power supply. Plus, first ship departs Odessa port since grain deal broke down.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. To begin the news this afternoon, on the national scene, the federal government will on Thursday arraign suspended Central Bank of Nigeria CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele and his associates for 6.9 billion naira procurement fraud at the Federal Capital Territory FCT High Court in Abuja. Emefiele will be arraigned alongside a female CBN employee, Saadatu Yaru, and her company on 20 charges of procurement fraud, conspiracy, and conferring corrupt advantages on his associate. The embattled Apex Bank chief, who has been in detention since he was suspended from office on June 9, was accused of conferring corrupt advantages on Yaro, a director in April 1616 Investment Limited. In the charges signed by the Director of Public Prosecutions, Federal Ministry of Justice, Mohammed Abubakar, Deputy Director of Public Prosecution Kiru Jones Nebo, and 8 other ministry officials, the 3 accused persons were alleged to have brought a fleet of over 98 exotic vehicles and armored buses valued at about 6.9 billion naira. Meanwhile, the federal government has insisted that no federal university is allowed to charge tuition fees in the country. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, David Adejo, said this at a public hearing by the House of Representatives Ad hoc Committee on Student Loans in Abuja. Adejo said that the recent increase in charges by federal universities in the country was unfortunate, noting that the charges collected were used to pay for some of its services, including electricity bills. He claimed that the signing of the Student Loan Act was responsible for some of the hike in the university charges. In the meantime, the Vice President Kashim Shettima and provided by the technology giant for the support of the Tinubu administration's 1 million job.
According to the Vice President. Moving now to the President of the Federal Republic, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he said that the biting sanctions imposed by the Economic Community of West African States ECOWAS on the Niger in the Francophone country. Tinubu, who stated this when he received the special envoy of President Ali Odimba and the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Gabon, Herman Imolangwat, at the State House in Abuja, insisted that the military takeover of government was no longer acceptable in Africa. According to a statement released by the presidential during Ghana, the president also praised the solidarity of the economic community of Central African states on the political situation of electricity cut off by the federal government as part of the embargo slammed on the coupists following the overthrow of President Mohamed Bazoum on July 26. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has mourned the death of troops killed by bandits in an ambush in the Shiroro area of Niger State, as well as the crash of a Nigerian Air Force helicopter in the state. The president, in his statement, disclosed that the incident brought him immense sadness, saying the officers and men were answering a call of duty while on an evacuation mission. While commending the courage and devotion of the fallen soldiers, Tinubu expressed condolence to their families. The Chief of Naval Defense Staff, Air Staff, Army, Naval Staff, and in a separate development, Airline Operators of Nigeria has stated that Nigeria Air, the country's proposed national carrier, may not commence operations anytime soon because it does not have an airline operator's certificate. The spokesman of Airline Operators of Nigeria, Obiora Okonkwo, told newsmen in Abuja that if Nigeria Air were to begin operations in October 2020, line added that any action contradicting the court order would be a clear violation of the law. He expressed belief that the court would take the necessary step to address the matter. Meanwhile, the National Union of Air Transport Employees, NOATE, has directed the Aviation Security AVSEC and Logistics Subsector to commence an immediate strike from today, August 16th. Civil Aviation DGCA Managing Director, Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAN, Commissioner of Police, Airports Command, the Airports Commandant, Director, Department of State Security, DSS, Murtala Mohammed International Airport, MMIA, Lagos Command. The circular, which was signed by the General Secretary NOATE Ochime Abba, lamented that AVSEC, who are mostly graduates, Abba explained that all efforts to negotiate improved wages for their members in the past had failed. In another development, the National Youth Service Corps NYSC orientation exercise is scheduled to resume in Borno State 13 years after the 3-week course was suspended over recurring attacks by Boko Haram insurgents. The NYSC took to its Twitter handle to notify prospective corps members deployed to the state's second stream of the Batch B orientation course of a change of venue, adding that the date of commencement of the orientation course has been changed to the 18th of August 2023. Move now to Africa, where Niger's military-appointed Prime Minister Ali Zien has made an unannounced visit to neighboring Chad as West African states set talks for mulling possible military intervention to reverse the country's coup. The Chadian government said that Zien, a civilian appointed by the military rulers who ousted Nigerian President Mohamed Bazoum on the 26th of July, arrived in Chad for a working visit. In a statement issued after meeting Chadian President Mohamed Idris Deby Itno, Zien said he had brought a message of good neighborliness and good fraternity from the head of Niger's government, adding that Niger is Fulgence Kashima, who has been in custody in South Africa, has been arrested again on an order for his transfer to Arusha, Tanzania, to stand trial for genocide. He was arrested while in the holding cells at the High Court in Cape Town yesterday. Reports say Kashima at a Catholic church in Rwanda during the 1994 genocide. According to reports, the developments were at the request of the United Nations International Receivable Mechanism for Criminal Tribunals. On the foreign scene, Ukrainian Infrastructure Minister Alexander Kebrov has said that a container ship has departed Ukraine's southern port of Odessa today, becoming the first vessel to use a temporary Black Sea shipping corridor established following the breakdown of a UN-brokered grain deal last month. Kerbakov said the Hong Kong flagship was en route to the Bosporus, carrying more than 30,000 metric tons of cargo, including food products. According to him, the vessel had been stuck in an order declaring temporary corridors for merchant ships sailing to and from Ukraine ports. region where fierce battles have taken place in recent days. The spokesperson for the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Andriy Karklov, said the country's defense forces took control of Yurgazan and are consolidating their position south of Bakhmut as heavy fighting continues. Still to come in the news. Harry Maguire's proposed move to West Ham off as he vows to fight for Manchester United place. Stay with us for details of these.
It's the needs of the people, but there's an extra advantage if your product and services are pitched on a platform that gives you the added advantage over your competitors. For your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum 12733. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Determines how well people, relationships, organizations thrive and how long they stick together. Join Uyai Anyekan on Connect every Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. and on Sunday 2:30 to 3 p.m. on channel 421 on Star Times to catch all the conversations, interviews, real stories and how to navigate relationships and family life in the 21st century. Real people.
Thanks for staying tuned, and now to the rest of our news stories. In our business news, the Ministry of Finance Incorporated, the investment vehicle of the federal government, has set its eyes on the capital market to raise funds as it seeks to meet the target of having 100 trillion naira assets under management in 10 years. This was revealed at the closing gong ceremony held in honor of Murphy at the Nigerian Exchange Limited (NGX) in Lagos. Speaking at the NGX, the managing director of Murphy, Dr. Armstrong Takang, said they are expected to source funding for investments and for government entities, which is where the capital market is important. On his part, the Chief Executive Officer at the NGX, Temi Popola, in response expressed the willingness of the exchange and other stakeholders to achieve the goal of Murphy. Spirit, popularly called petrol, following the inability of importers to access the United States dollars and the impact which this is having on businesses. This came as Tinubu ruled out fuel price hike and reversal of fuel subsidy. However, marketers of petroleum products encouraged the president to learn from Kenya, stressing that the African country had to return subsidy on petrol to curb the devastating impact which its removal had on Kenyans. The Secretary, Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Abuja Suleja Mohammed Shoaibu, who stated this, argued that despite the fact that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited announced earlier on Tuesday that it had no intention of increasing petrol price, the cost of the commodity would rise above its current 617 naira per litre in weeks if the exchange rate continues to increase. Moving to our health stories, the United Nations to rise from 1.74 million in 2022 to 2 million in 2023, citing the October 2022 CADER harmonized a government-led and UN-supported food and nutrition analysis carried out twice a year. UNICEF identified continued conflict, climate change, inflation, and rising food prices as key drivers of the alarming trend. UNICEF of Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe alleged armed banditry and kidnapping in states such as Katsina, Sokoto, Kaduna, Benue, and Niger. The increased attacks, the organization noted, are leading to displacement, market disruptions, and loss of livelihood. In the meantime, the Director General, National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, says consumption of cardboard ripened foods may cause sleep disorders, mouth ulcers, and cancers. She said this in Bauchi State during a one-day sensitization workshop organized for journalists, market men, and women in the Northeast on the dangers posed by drug hawkers and carbide ripened foods. Professor Adeyeye, who was represented by the Director of Chemical Evaluation and Research, Dr. Patrick Omokrolia, said characteristics of carbide ripened foods include considerable loss of properties such as color, taste, and feel. On his part, the chairman of Health Journalists in Nigeria, Hassan Zaki, lauded NAFDAC for raising the alarm, noting that it would help to save lives. He urged journalists to amplify the campaign on drug abuse and carbide ripened foods in the region. In sports, Harry Maguire's move to West Ham is off, with the defender intent on staying at Manchester United to fight for his place in the first team. The England defender, 30, looked set to join the Hammers after a £30 million fee was agreed between the clubs. Reports say Maguire struggled for first-team opportunities last season and was stripped of the captaincy this season. However, United have maintained they would respect his wishes and do not want to push him out of the club. Still in sports, Lionel Messi shrugged off an injury scare to score his 9th goal in 6 games as Inter Miami beat Philadelphia Union to reach the League's Cup final. The Argentine World Cup winner scored Miami's 2nd goal in a 4-1 victory a day after rolling his ankle in training. Joseph Martinez, Jordi Alba, and David Reyes scored for Miami, with Alejandro Bedoya on target for the host. Miami will now play Nashville SC in Saturday's final. Meanwhile, the result also means Miami qualifies for the CONCACAF Champions Cup regional tournament next season, which may open up a route into FIFA's expanded Club World Cup in 2025. On our entertainment news, ahead of the 2023 Headies Award, the Academy has unveiled a list of artists that will be entertaining guest acts for the 2023 edition. Others on the performance list are Marvin Records signees Ira Star, Johnny Drill, street pop hitmaker Sheyi Vibes, Afrobeat legends Wanda Cole, Casey, as well as multi-Headies winner Fireboy, Oxlade, Next Rated nominees Victoni and Spyro, and hip-hop star Black Bunnies. The Headies is set to return to the United States for the 2023 edition, which is scheduled to hold on September 3rd, 2023 at the Cobbs Energy Center in Atlanta, Georgia. If that's all we have for you at this time, do well to follow us on social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtelevision.ng. You can also do well to follow us on Twitter at SpectrumT Online. This has been Spectrum Television News at 12. I am Uyai Aneka, and thanks for watching, and do enjoy the rest of your day. Good afternoon.